As Nigeria transitioned to another government in 2023, the people, they say, bears the biggest responsibility in the democratic system as they go to the polls to choose their preferred candidate or leader. Correspondent Gabriel Odia takes a look at the roles of voters before, during and after the election. In democracy or politics, such as we have in Nigeria, government is elected by the people who vote in an election. Therefore, people remains the fundamental ingredient that makes up a true democracy, and without involving them, it will eventually fail. As millions of voters go to the polls in February 2023 to elect its leaders, the voter must be of eligible age and must have registered and his vote be accurately counted at the polls in line with electoral laws.
The good thing is that as a learning organization, INEC has come to the conclusion that INEC alone cannot conduct elections that are successful and have credibility. And to that extent, the channel they have to do this is through multi-stakeholders consultations.
An election is not an event. Many activities make up election. As a voter, before election, you must make sure you get registered. Your name must appear on the voters list. And then number two, you should ensure that you collect your PVC. INEC says no PVC, no voting. To ensure that you know the date of election. You also need to ensure that you know the location of your PU.
According to INEC, a registered voter with a permanent voter's card must conduct his or herself to be able to exercise his franchise, irrespective of his category, as a person after being duly accredited.
INEC can improve on their ICT system. The ICT system basically is that the beavers that they have proposed to use, they should make adequate backup in terms of failure so that they can augment immediately.
A voter, after casting his ballot, is expected to maintain a distance of about 70 to 100 yards from the polling point, while the voter called for the proper decentralization of PVC collecting centers.
If you remember, in 2011, INEC said that voters should protect their vote, but we are no longer operating like that. After casting your vote, you have to walk away or you maintain distance to 70 to 100 meters.
So now, our role is the PVC is our power. So now, if INEC don't want to thwart our efforts or disenfranchise us, all they should do is that they should make sure that those who registered are given the PVC. And when the PVC are ready, they should decentralize it to the local government area so that people can readily get there.
But I can tell you that we are saddled with over 200,000, right? Well, the permanent voters cards. I think I can very soon. INEC is going to change strategy a little by devolving the level of collection to the world level, and we are going to follow that with a very massive public enlightenment.
Meanwhile, the Commission has promised more sensitization on the collection of PVCs.
You're welcome back. Very succinct, very clear, your role. In case you don't know what to do before, now it's clear. Election is not an event. It is a process. It's not on election day that you start running up and down, I want to vote, where will I vote? No. There are procedures to follow, and I guess the INEC and all those are guest resource persons, they have discussed that with you. But again, we have someone in the studio, someone who is well versed. Of course, he was with us last week. I would say we're going to bring him back. He did an exam, though he passed But again, this one, he has to repeat his visitation here. And of course, because of that, we have brought Nelson Ekujimi, a guru in this field. He's going to break it down for you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Nelson,
Thank
you're welcome.
you very much. Thank you.
Fuel, how it be for your side?
Well, so far so good.
It's all right. We are going to cope.
Yeah.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And the role of voters.
Yes, thank you very much for this great opportunity. The role of voters, like we all know, the most important role of a voter is to ensure that you are registered. And after registration, ensure that you get your PVC. And when you get your PVC, the third step is to ensure that you keep your PVC like your ATM. Your PVC determines your political future for the next 4 years. So every one of us know what 4 years means in the life of a human being. It is very, very critical. Then if you have your PVC and you have kept it, the next assignment for the voter is to ensure that he or she interrogates the candidates and the parties to know what the parties have in stock. As a voter, there must be some basic principles that you expect the party to propagate. So in doing that, it is now left for you to cross-check what is party A offering my people. The candidate, where is he coming from? What has he done before? On a scale of 1 to 10, where do I rate him compared to other candidates? So the voter has a responsibility to interrogate the candidates and the political parties so that he will be able to make informed choice. It won't be led by the nose. Unfortunately, we live in a climate today where the illiteracy level is very high, such that only few people are interrogating, are asking questions. And like I said here last week, societies that have made progress are societies in which people have asked questions. We are seated there in some time past in life. We need to be at the village square and people gather around us to listen to us. But now we are millions of miles from people and they are watching and listening. It was because people asked questions that, look, how do we get this thing better? No, people who are not here, how would they be able to assess? At a point in time in our life as a nation, for you to get your money in a bank, the bank where you open the account is where you go. They will bring out a ledger. They will look at your face. It was being done manually. But today, I can go to Sokoto State and withdraw money from my account.
Not only that, even you can be in that Sokoto State and just be in your hotel room or anywhere.
Yes, and do a financial transaction. So it is because people have that is why, like I always tell people, what differentiates us as a higher animal is the brain, and that brain God has given us to go and solve problems. So the voter should also know that, like the wreck we watched on the preview earlier on said, the conduct of a successful, free, fair and credible election is not that of INEC alone. The voter has a very big role to play. The voter has a very big role to play. The voter must ensure that on election day, he or she is guided by the rules and regulations governing the conduct of election. And what are those rules and regulations? That on election day, you go to the polling stations in a civilized manner. You not go there to provoke. You not go there to go and campaign for your candidate. You not go there wearing the cap, a shirt or an emblem of your political party. It's a no-go area for that. And we have also been told, according to INEC regulations, that you cannot take your ballot paper, you cannot take your phone into the voting cubicle. So on election day, when you get to the polling station, you must maintain absolute civility and discipline by forming a queue. If you know people have come and they arrive before you are on a queue, it will not be responsible of you to just say you want to go in front of them. Take your own position on the line. It will get to your turn, and when it gets to your turn, the polling officer will cross-check your PVC vis-a-vis the voters register, vis-a-vis the beavers machine. Then when he or she has done that, if your name is found there, they will certify you as being present. They will tick it. Then the other officer, maybe the assistant presiding officer, will give you the ballot paper. Your responsibility now is to go into the cubicle and thumbprint for the candidate of your choice. And in doing that, one hopes the voters will be guided by 4 years, that he has to endure.
I'm enjoying your flow. I don't want to disturb you. You are teaching me, and I'm a good student. I will listen very well. That's how they taught me. But I have to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Why? Because when you went to the issue of lining and of course voting, yes, you jumped something which I think we should equally teach our people.
Okay.
And that's the issue of elderlies, the elderly ones, and the physically challenged.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
How do we treat them?
I think
what is their role too?
Yes. We are Africans. Even no matter the type of governance we practice, we always understand that we must respect our elders. We must respect the vulnerable ones. And the laws governing our election also provides that, it also gives provisions for that proviso, that when on election day, the elderly, the aged, the nursing mother, the pregnant women will be given priority because of their condition. So as a young man or woman, that's why I used a description. You must be responsible. When I say responsible, somebody who is courteous, somebody who respects elders, is a responsible being.
Yes. True.
And when you do, and you must also understand that the peace of that voting environment, the responsibility also lies in you. Not only the policeman or the INEC official.
Yes.
You yourself, you have a role to ensure that there's law and order wherever you are voting. Because if there's chaos, everybody will be affected. So the role of the voter in maintaining peace, tranquility at the polling station is very, very crucial. And the voter must acquaint himself. Let me also use this medium to inform the voter that they must acquaint themselves with the rules and regulations governing the elections. It's not for you to get to polling unit A and on looking at the voters register, because when you get to the polling station, let me also remind us, the voters register would have been pasted on a wall that you go and check your name. When you go to check your name, you now come to the officer on the table who also check your name in the register with him. If you have found your name on the register, that means you are automatically qualified to vote. Okay. But if you have not found your name there, it is not enough for you on that day to start making trouble because, my name is not here. This is where I voted. You don't know, maybe in the voting population in that polling station has been is large enough that it has been separated and a new polling unit created for you. So that is why the review of voters register that is presently ongoing. It started on the 12th of November at the ward level and it ended on the 18th. Now is at the INEC offices in the various local government. And what is your responsibility as a voter? To ensure that on election day you already know where you are voting. It's not for you to now run to somewhere. No, I voted here. And at the end of the day, somebody now tells, you voted at LA Primary School. Oh, I forgot. You would have caused, disruption of peace there. Because as an election observer, I've witnessed this severally, where people will come to the polling station and they will be like, no, somebody will not tell them, you didn't vote yet. That was where you voted. We both left the house together. The man will not keep quiet.
So what are the roles of voters after the election? The
role of voters after election, like we all know, is to either go home peacefully and await the announcement of results, or keep a distance of about 100 meters and not interfere with the process. Because the process is such that when 100 people votes in a polling station, the polling officer will bring out the ballot papers from the box in the presence of all. He will do the counting, then he will do the sorting, Then he will do the announcement. If you are dissatisfied with the process there are procedures for you to ventilate, your dissatisfaction. It is not enough for you to say, oh, the candidate I wanted was not the one that won here. Oh, so we are going to hold everybody hostage. You'll be running foul of the law. The election is guided by law, and that law states the do's and the don'ts.
Yes. Again, when you were explaining to us, somebody came on election day and started causing wahala. That is voted here, his name is not there.
Yeah.
I know that there is a period they call the claims and objection.
Yes.
It's part of the electoral process.
Absolutely.
Can you help us explain that process to us?
Yes, the claims and objection and the review process. Why INEC does that is to avail the voters of the transparency in the institution called INEC, and also to make you aware that INEC is peopled by human beings, that they can make mistakes. Like as I'm sitting down here, my name is Ekujumi, Ekujumi, that's my surname. A lot of times people misspell it to write Ekujimi. They miss the U for an I.
They even try now.
Yeah, yes.
Instead of Ogunjebe, they say Ogungbagbe.
Yes. My late landlady, because she was aware of my activities, will always come to me that, please, they didn't write my name well. I said, Mama, go to the INEC office. Go and lay this complaint. Even before the official announcement of the process, that window has always been there at INEC. If you go there, they will give you a form to fill. And even as a voter, one of the mistakes the voters also commit, a voter will register in Ikorodu. On election day, he will want to go and vote in Surulere. It won't work. It is where you are registered that you can vote, because that is where your name is domiciled. It is all to allow.
Can they change locations?
They can, absolutely. Okay. But there's a window. There's a time for, like we say in life, there is time for everything. There's time to sleep. There's time to work, and there's time to, procreate and, what have you. There's time for refreshment. There's time for leisure. As we are here now, we are here for business. So people must understand that even as INEC is a creation of the law. And in being a creation of the law, they are duty bound to follow what the law stipulates. And that is why INEC has its rules and regulations guiding each and every of its activities. That is why when immediately we finished the last election in 2019, by 2020 June, INEC commenced the registration of voters. And since that 2020 June till this year, 2022. And under the Electoral Act mandates INEC to stop the registration of voters 90 days before election. And why is INEC doing that? So that when the registrants, when they are registered, INEC will now go back, look into its system, cross the I's and dot the T's. That is the period also that is given within the window of INEC for you, if you have any claims and objection. Oh, my name was wrongly spelled. This is not my picture. When for example, look at the total registration population, over 90 million. You and I know that is not a joke. For you to even sit on 1,000 names and pictures alone, let anybody try it and see how it feels. So even if this thing is going to be done by machine, there's somebody monitoring it.
Yeah.
There's somebody to click on the machine to ensure that it does the right thing.
I've always thought about this and asked, like, can't they make it possible that with your voter's card, wherever you are, you should be able to vote? Can't they do that?
No, it will allow for multiplicity, or it will allow for duplication of voting. Because if it's just like if you register, take for example, if you register for the school certificate examination, can you register in Onike secondary school and go and do And say because you have registered in Onike, then you want to go and do it in Ikorodu Secondary School. It won't work. It doesn't work that way. So for the sake of accountability, that is why where you are voted. So when you are moving, if you are changing location, the law permits you, notify us. We'll help you change your name on the register. We'll take a look at what INEC, when we're doing the registration, INEC warned repeatedly, don't register twice. It will amount to double registration. Some people register twice. Some persons, for example, my name is Nelson Ekujumi. Some persons will go there, they will register here in Ikeja, Nelson Ekujumi. They will go to Shomolu, Ekujumi Nelson. So with the aim of shortchanging the system. But God so good, your biodata
of course
will give you out. Because since the creation of man, it has been proven by science
thumbprint
that no two persons have no two persons have the same thumbprint. Absolutely.
I like that.
Yes. One question before we go for this short break. In the issue of the voter, how will we now be able to mobilize co-voters? You know, some people care less about what is happening in the system. Theirs is to give us our daily bread. Can the voter too mobilize his co-voter? Don't you hear that they are registering? Don't you hear that they are doing? They are having claim as objection? Don't you know that today is election day? Don't you know that you should be involved in the process?
Yes, some of us as voters, we are doing that, and we recognize that God has not created all of us the same. Some persons have that character,
nature.
Yes, that I want.
Nature.
Yes, but there are some, they are recluse. But in the midst of that, even if you are not going to talk to the man or woman at the bus stop, talk to those that you live
with, your neighbor,
with those that you sleep on the same bed with. Tell your wife, tell your children. As I'm sitting there during the voters registration, my daughter didn't. I told her, go and register. She didn't listen. I had to tell her to go to Yaba. You know, at the end of the exercise, the window that was open was only for you to come to the INEC office in Yaba. So that was where I said you have to go through that paint. And unfortunately, as we speak now, a lot of Nigerians will come on air and be saying, can't INEC bring the voters card to my house?
Oh, wow.
We need to let them understand that INEC program is funded. There's a budget for it. As we speak, I'm not sure INEC has a budget
for distribution
for them to take your voters card and be looking for
door to
door. INEC does not have the funds for that, and the Nigerian state does not have the funds for that in this economic trying times.
Okay.